Yeah, I've been on easy street, that's right. The last 2 months I haven't made any videos. What's up with that? Well, I'm here today and I'm gonna make a few videos for you. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Got a front door here, goes into a little shed. And they've made a little room into this. Okay, well, this door is not closing all the way. When this door closes, it doesn't want to seem to latch. It's rubbing down here and all that. We've got to check this out, and I brought you along for the ride. Okay, now let's take a look at this door and see what's going on. See, it doesn't want to seem to close all the way, and down there it's like that's not pushing in all the way. What's up? Why is that? Well, upon further view, let's get the camera set up here. It's hitting this threshold down here. And see this threshold? Now this type of threshold has a rubber gasket on there. See this rubber here? I don't really like this kind, because you have to cut the door just perfect. Then the door edge hits this rubber, kind of pushes it down and seals that. Well, after a while, this gets pushed down. If the door sags a little bit, then that gets smashed down. And after a while, this gets loose and it can start peeling up. So what I like to do is use the other type of threshold, just flat without the rubber goodie. But on this one here, it's there, and we're going to leave that alone. I'm not here to replace that, but I'm just kind of explaining to you what we've got going on here. So if I close this door here, see, it's not, it's hitting the bottom. It's rubbing this here, and I have to push this in, and it's hitting that gasket because this door has sagged, and this side is tighter than it is over on the right hand side. And we can also look, and we can tell that by up here. I see the big gap right there, right here. See that? Now if you go over to the right hand edge of the door where the hinges are, this gap here, see? It's not very much, is it? That's how it's supposed to be all the way along there. So that tells me the door has sagged. What happens is when this side sags down, the edge of the door gets closer here, but see, the gap looks pretty good along the vertical edge coming down. That looks pretty good. So, you know, this whole building has sagged to a certain point. And I'm going to have to do some different things to it. Now over here, usually this gap here where the hinge is, when the door sags, usually this gap opens up. Now see how nice it is right here? And I was kind of hoping this gap was bigger, because then there could be some things I could do with the hinge, to do something with the hinge and tweak the hinge and then push the door back over here, and that would raise up this left hand side. Well, if I look all the way down this edge, I don't have much of a gap, do I? I've got just the right amount. So that tells me a few things. That tells me that what I'm going to try to do is I've got to suck the door jamb over. And this door jamb is 3/4 of an inch thick. And then there's some shims behind there, and then they attach that to the 2x4 supporting member. It's called a king stud, and that supports your door over here. Now I'm hoping, you know, I'm not going to take this trim off. First off, I'm hoping I can take this and suck it over a little bit at the top here. And I'll show you that in a minute, okay? Now here's something else. This door is a 4-piece door. Okay, there's a vertical piece here, right here. You can see where the joint, you can see this joint right here. Okay, that goes from top to bottom. Okay, same thing over here. the interesting thing, because this is an exterior door, it's all glued together and dadoed and stuff. See this gap here? Well, usually what happens on doors over time, and then see right here, you can also see that right there, there's a gap here, there's a gap here, and all these insets are individual pieces, and then they're pushed in there and everything's wedged in. Now see along this one inset where you can see the joint? That's because this piece is pulled over. It's pulled over that way. So in a sense, this door is actually wider than it should be, and that's another thing that's causing it to probably sag. You look on the outside of the door, we got the same thing here. You see, there's that crack there again. Here's the crack here. There's a little crack there. There's a gap there. So this whole door is expanded, but we're gonna still try to make this work. Okay, stick with me, because we're gonna get in to fixing this door. Now see, the first thing I'm gonna do before I do anything is I want to try to suck this hinge over. Now what you could do is you could take some 8-penny galvanized nails and maybe put one there, angle it into the 2x4. You don't want to nail it straight because you're going to miss the 2x4, get onto the edge of where the sheetrock is, because you've got sheetrock, then you've got the 2x4. So you'd have to put it right in here. You could put one there and you could put one there and then whack it in there, and then finish it off with a nail set, put a putty knife over it and hammer it. But then you've got those shown. What I like to do instead is I'm going to take this hinge off, I'm going to flap this over, then I'm going to pre-drill some holes in here and ram some 3-inch wood screws into here and hope that sucks it over far enough. Then I don't have to see any nail heads here or anything. What I'm trying to do is make it look like I was never here when I get done with this project. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to undo this hinge first and get ready to pre-drill these holes. Yeah, I'm going to try to do this with my drill. It's not a battery operated drill. It's one with the cord, so I got to be real careful with this. Just a touchy finger here, because I don't want to strip these screws or anything. Just do a little at a time. Okay. Anybody can do this project, all right? Let's see here. Take a small little screwdriver and just kind of try to loosen this out, because sometimes these are painted, you know what I mean? And if you're not watching it, you could goober up the hinge or around the edge right here. And that's the last thing I want to do. Start patching something. I'm going to just take my sheetrock knife. I'm going to zip it around here to free up any paint. You know, it looks pretty good, but it's still feeling a little tight. You know? Come on. There. See there? That's because the first person who painted this, they painted this and then they put the hinge on before this was cured all the way, because I can see lots of paint on the back side of this hinge. There's a tip for you. Just be careful, alright? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a couple holes. And I don't want to get too close to the outside edge. There's half an inch is your sheetrock, sometimes 5/8. Okay, so I want further than that, and I'm going to kind of put them in at an angle. I'm going to put one down low, I'm going to put one up high. Okay, I'm going to try that. If I have to, I can put a third one in there. Okay. I don't really have to get a set. This is like just an ice pick, and I can use that kind of like a scratch awl. Now, before I ram those in, I'm going to take a drill bit and I'm going to pre-drill these before I put the screws in. And I've got some screws, and these are wood screws. You see how long this is? Let's see here. That's pretty long. I'd say that's probably, let's see, I'm going to say it's 3-inch. Yeah, see? 3-inch long, and these are wood screws because they have coarse threads, and it's got a flat head on there, you know, like that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to put in there. So I'm going to find a drill bit. What I have to do is I need to find a drill bit just a hair smaller than this, extend it out far enough in my drill so I can drill it in. I don't necessarily have to use a drill bit that goes all this way. Maybe if the drill goes in yay far, you know what I mean, then I can drive this home. Okay, be right back. Okay, I found some drill bits, and I got a small one, a 3/32. Now this one will work. See how it's a little bit bigger than the threads? You line that up. And I could use that, but this is the next size of my drill bit set. It's a 7/64. Okay, and that's still smaller than the threads. I don't want to get it too close to the threads because then I defeat the purpose. Okay, I think I'm going to use that. And the reason why I'm going to use that drill bit is because you see how it's a little bit longer than this drill bit, and see, it's still short. If I used this smaller one, and you see I've got to put it in the drill, so I'm only going to have that much going into the wood. That's a long ways to drive this into a 2x4, especially if those 2x4s are 20 years old or something. I could strip the head off. I could snap this off. These, believe it or not, you can snap off a screw, and I've done it before. If it doesn't go in all the way, then you're defeating the purpose. Okay, I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to catch the tip of this. I don't want to push it in all the way into my chuck of the drill, because then it's going to be even shorter. So I'm going to catch just the tip, do the best I can, make sure it's still snug. Okay, and then I'm going to drill those holes. Now I don't use this drill very often, but it's my backup plan in case my battery operated drill stops working, or I got to charge the battery and I don't have an extra battery, whatever. Okay, so when I put this in, I just want to grab the tip, and when you tighten this, you want to tighten on one hole, then you want to turn it and tighten it on the next. Turn it and tighten it on the next. That way you get it overall, you get it on there nice and snug. Okay? If you're just doing one, you're not getting it in there right, and it might get wobbly, or it could even come loose. I've had that happen, so that's kind of why I do that. And I've got some goggles on, and you know what? I've got my earplugs, and so I'm taking a little napkin and I'm going to stick that in my ear. My ears get kind of sensitive, and that's probably from over the years, I wasn't wearing earplugs. So you got to get yourself a set of those. You know, if you're going to start doing things on your own, instead of paying somebody else, you can save some of that money and start investing it in some tools and some safety goggles and safety wear and all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's do it.